By the way, many respect already for this guy. I love this current situation. Okay,
I didn't expect
He's
people to
focused,
care
okay?
this
He knows
much.
exactly what he wants. He has the old-fashioned dick mic in front of him. He has that bed without a blanket on it.
Okay, guys, it's gonna be kind of a try not to cringe challenge. So Primogen, another YouTuber, recently reacted to a video that I made.
It's 30 minutes.
Yep.
All right. So I've never actually watched one of these videos, these I quit FANG company after 2 months. Let's see why this guy quit after only 2 months. Because I'm not going to lie to you, when I hear this, it feels weak. One time I got fired from a job because I refused to put away food that was set on a table back in so that we could serve it to other tables, okay? I'm just saying, you gotta have honor. But let's see what happens here. Is this honor?
We always talked about it in the sense that you have to be intense. And in fact, if you ever had to give up friendly in order to have intense, we would do that. So if we needed to be intense and combative, we'd do that before we'd be not intense. But
it's an interesting phrase, like just in general. Here's a poll. I think this is actually a really good thought-provoking question to ask yourselves. Do you think that it's better to work with a bunch of nice people when we all know everybody's the same person on the inside, right? We're all not great. We all think shit of each other and all that. Do you want to work with a bunch of plastic, fake, nice people? Or would you rather have people encouraged to speak what they think to your face? I don't think I'm an asshole. Like, I'm not going to be mean to people. But there's definitely like you got to be careful when you think something's happening, right? You got to be like, well, you know, I really see how you're feeling about the situation, but have you considered alternative perspectives with whom do not circle around your unchangeable opinions? It's just like, you know, there's these things that we all have to do that are very difficult, I think. I don't know, it's just a very interesting thing. I would love to try it. There's always a douche, but the thing is that douche still exists whether or not someone's speaking kind or not kind to you. Does that make sense? Like, that douche is still talking shit about you. I don't know, I've been congratulated by my candor and telling how it is. So I guess that I'm in a blacklist. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. It's just a very interesting thing I would like to think about. I think it'd be fun to try it out, but I'm curious if it could last. I think it would definitely set of people. I think whoever wants to live in that would thrive in that, and whoever hates that would quit. And so I mean, all companies self-select for some archetype of person, and this would just be one of those archetype selectors. I don't know. Interesting. Anyways, let's keep on going.
I don't really talk about my personal life on here, but if you followed the channel, you know that I was unemployed. Then I made this YouTube channel. Then I got into Google, and now I quit. But I never really talked about why I was unemployed in the first place. Well, the short answer is that after I graduated, I actually accepted an offer from Amazon, and I worked there for 2 months, and then I quit. I'll give a bit of backstory. I grew up with my mom.
This is what every guy looks like when he's alone. I want you to know that, okay? This is every man's room when he lives by himself. I mean, the fact that he has a sheet on his bed that matches his pillowcase, I'm actually pretty impressed right now. I'm genuinely pretty impressed. No blanket. The man has no time for blanket, or it's nicely placed on his lap right now. My guess is it's on his lap. Also, I would like to
it was
do
actually,
one more.
I didn't make the bed, so I literally took the blanket and tossed it off of the bed. But yeah,
Kind of call out here. His bed is off the ground. I'm just saying, until I had a wife, my bed never made it off the ground. My bed never made it off the ground until then, okay? I'm just throwing it on there. It took a wife to lift a bed, okay? I know you might think it's strength that lifts the bed. It's not strength, okay? That's not the reason why beds are getting off the ground. I like that $1,000 stand of books on the desk. Yeah, you got these beautiful books right here. All right, let's keep on going. That's like an O'Reilly book going on right here. Anyways, let's keep on going. By the way, many respect already for this guy. I love this current situation, okay?
I didn't expect people to care this much.
He knows exactly what he wants. He has the old-fashioned dick mic in front of him. He has that bed without a blanket on it. MacBook strewn about. I mean, this is like, I mean, he does have a table. Or a table at the end, so that's impressive.
And 2 brothers.
This is not what I expected.
My dad had drug problems and pretty much abandoned us, and I mainly just wanted to like help my family. Buddy. We were poor, and we definitely knew it. I remember as a kid, I was like playing outside, and then I fell. I looked down at my knee, and it was bleeding, and the first thought I had was, damn, my mom just bought me these pair of jeans, and I already ripped them, and
If that's not your first thought process, you're not living that poor life. I remember falling and ripping my stuff and thinking, oh shit, not the blood, but like, damn, my mom's gonna be upset that I ruined the
Yeah.
pants. Yeah, I want to hire this dude, I think. I know, this is good. I love this mentality. It's really good. I wish
Holy
my
shit,
kids
Like
had
a
this.
knot in my stomach, which is the worst feeling.
got the
Now,
job.
this isn't a sob story. I think some people spend their whole lives like looking for a purpose, but I already had mine. So when I was lucky enough to be the first in my family to go to college, my goal was simple: get a degree as quickly as possible so I can get a high paying job and then help my family. And I actually did that. I got my CS degree. I failed some interviews, but I managed to get an offer from Amazon where I was supposed to make like 140K a year.
Let's go.
And
Let's go.
this is actually the backpack they gave me. Anybody who works at Amazon can probably confirm. I think everybody gets this. I put
Yo, dude, that was like the most sloppy hold up to the camera. It was like bottom third of the screen.
He's
I know you could
reacting
do
to
better.
all the
okay?
stuff I
Okay,
didn't
I know
expect.
I know you could do better. Just get that crap on the screen.
like a sticker on it. But other than that, it's the same Amazon backpack. When
What
I
does he
got
expect
the
you to
offer,
do?
I
Like,
felt
do
like
it
a
like
huge
artists
weight
do
lifted
it?
from my
Like,
shoulders. This
Yeah.
is
like,
what
try
I
to
work.
do that hand focus thing, like
Yeah. My camera
whole
kind of
life-
sucks too.
for, and it's finally gonna pay off. Going in
Dude, I remember when I got my first real job, $50,000 a year. Damn.
Wait.
It was so sweet. I was so pumped. Hey, that was my first real job a year. Yeah, 50K a year, dude. It felt so good.
think you
10
started,
sick
like,
days,
10 years
15
ago.
vacation days. Damn, it was so cool. It was so cool. I have never felt more amazing in my lifetime because I mean, grew up ass poor. Then I got a raise to 75, and after that, it didn't feel nearly as impactful. And
Yeah, I think so far. I want to know what he thinks about the actual like job stuff because I probably agree with what he's gonna say. I think in hindsight, and we'll see what he says, but I think I could have done better in that situation.
time I got any
think
further
he'll probably
raises
say
beyond
the
that, it
same
wasn't
thing.
hugely impactful. It was great. I liked it. I mean, I very appreciative every time. But going from 0 to 50 arguably was my biggest jump. That was my biggest jump, was from no money to money. I was like, oh my goodness, I can eat. Yes, no peanut butter sandwiches. Right? Yeah, college to 50 was huge, dude. It felt so good. 10 sick
to
days.
it, I was definitely intimidated because it's like, wow, this is Amazon. It's gonna
Yeah.
be a well-oiled engineering machine. I joined
By the way, I love this mentality. Okay, can I get ones in the chat for those who have not started a full-time job anywhere yet? Ones in the chat for those who have not started a full-time job anywhere yet. A lot of ones. Wow. Hey, I encourage you guys. Like the point of this stream is that I want you guys to feel like you can do it. Please pick something. Go deep with it. Okay? Become excellent. Become hireable. I beg you. That is what this stream has always been about. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, this next part's very important. Of those people that pressed 1, how many of you think that if you were to join Netflix, you would join a well-oiled, incredible, amazingly talented place? Press 1. Can I give you a little secret about Google, about Amazon, about Facebook, about Microsoft, about any of those places? It's all horseshit, okay? You know what? It sucks everywhere. The
He's
good news
right.
is everywhere you go, it sucks.
Is it like that at test? Actually, maybe you can't
I
say.
can't.
Okay.
So don't worry. Like, just remember that. It's all shit
definitely a
shows.
shit
It's all
show
shit
at
shows.
Twitter.
Everywhere. Software is extremely hard. It's more of a shock that any software works ever anywhere than anything else. Oh, thank you, beautiful wife. She even said sorry handing me this. She didn't have to say that.
the Alexa org. There were 4 experienced engineers on the team, and like 5 or
Did you
6
work
new grads had
for-
just
on the
joined,
Alexa
including.
org?
And one of the first things my manager said to me was, "The team is a little burnt out, so try not to ask questions." Now,
Oh shit. Who says that? Can we just take a pause here for a second? This has to be the manager of the year. I want you just to replay what he just said in your head for a second. There were 4 senior people. There was 5 or 6 new hires. Hey, new hires, don't ask the people any questions. They're kind of burnt out. Why the hell would you put 6 new people on a team? Like, what is your goal? He got Amazon so hard. So chat, for those that don't know, Amazon is infamous for being absolute stress trash fire. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I just won't work at Amazon. Like, I personally will not work at Amazon. Twitch, I hear, is different, but I will not do that. I just won't.
usually I don't mind a challenge, but for some reason this was different. I had like so much anxiety just trying to read my screen. Like I could not concentrate. I felt like something in my brain broke. Like the glue that was holding everything together was just coming apart. Even tasks that were like trivial for me in the past just felt like impossible. My entire life, I never had an experience like this one, I swear. I felt like I was on fire and I would do anything to make it stop. And
I recently had an extremely challenging life situation come up just recently. Very, very challenging, in which I would consider some level of injustice happened. And injustice is very difficult, I feel like, because you want to be right. And I will tell you this much, that when you're presented with
it's like he's having a conversation with you synchronously.
Yeah. I don't mind if he does disagree with me or criticizes me or roasts me. Actually, I'm
Angry
looking
and-
forward to that, but we'll see.
upset and angry and all those things, you really do. You should push through that and get through it. You know, when I hear this, I don't hear, oh, those are good reasons to quit as of right now. Right now, what I hear is this is a good place to learn how to become extremely resilient. Now, I'm not saying stay there for a long time. Break through that difficulty, then go get a new
he's
job. To
technically
me, when I hear
correct,
these
I
things, I get
think.
encouraged to try to push through. And just like just a few months ago, extremely difficult situation. I never really brought up much, and I haven't talked about any of it on stream. And I really, really, really hated it. I'm not an optimist. I'm a realist. The more challenging a situation you can go through, the better you're going to be at life. Life's an RPG. There's a bunch of stats we all have. And if you just choose to train whatever stats you want. Some people just lean way too hard into the comfort stat. Okay? I don't want to lean into the comfort stat. Sucky stuff accelerates growth. It's a fact. And it's horrible and it's awful. And I wish it upon nobody. I wish there's a way I didn't have to go through horrible stuff to gain emotional resiliency. Who's going to carry the boats? Really? If you want physical resiliency, what do you have to do? You have to do physically awful things. If you want to be more emotionally resilient, you have to be able to go through really emotionally difficult things without cracking. That's that. Like, I feel bad for those that crack. Like, I do. I truly do. And it's an awful situation. I've been the person that's cracked, right? I've been.
Yeah, I
that
was
makes
gonna
a lot
ask
of
you.
sense. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. But like, you know me a little better, and you know that I've gone through like a recent transformation. I totally agree with what he's saying, but like also there are some situations that are beyond your control. And when people tell you like you just gotta be more resilient, bro, you know, and I think that sucks. But that's not what he's saying. But I'm just saying that there are people in those situations.
Yeah, I think it's true. And yeah, I was gonna ask you that because like your perspective on it, because he says like when you go through it, you come out like better on the other end. But he also says as long as you don't like crack. And, like that's the experience I've had. Like when you're in a really tough situation like that, or like any life experience, you can either improve from it or get worse from it. I feel like I've had experiences where like a big life event will actually just make you worse off, and you'll just stay worse off, not for like a month or like a year. It's just like something that happened in your life. It like lowers your stats with what he's talking about, but he's saying you can actually increase your stats. And I think it just matters like how you approach it, and sometimes just like the circumstances. Based on what he said, we know the conclusion, like things worked out for me, but I think he's mostly right. I mean, with the attitude I had and just like how I felt, I couldn't really do it. But had I been able to do it, I think things would have been generally better for me.
Been the person that got really
Emotionally, at least. Like, obviously not the YouTube channel.
frustrated and left. I've been the person that didn't gain emotional resiliency, but instead gained emotional fragility. That I became really like tender afterwards. I totally get it. I feel like it's definitely easier when you're young. Well, does it have to be emotional at all? Of course it does. All things are. I mean, at the end of the day, all things you make more decisions based on how you feel about something than you do about cold hard logic, right? Almost always you make decisions based on that. Like whether you like it or not. I would rather use Svelte simply because I think Rich is a cool guy. Svelte is better objectively. But I would also want to use it because of that. For Rust, I want to use Leptos because I just like Greg. I have an unusual liking of Greg. Just that's that. And so I'm just going to use Svelte because I'm like, Greg is super awesome.
So I quit. My thought process was, I'm sure they're going to fire me anyway, but I'm reasonably smart and reasonably hardworking. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get another high-paying job one day. And even if it pays half as much as Amazon did, for me, that's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
But honestly, maybe I was just trying to convince myself. And the funny thing is, when I actually first sent my resignation email, my manager called me and basically said, come on, you don't have to quit. But I was like, no, I'm serious. This sucks ass. And then the next day,
I do feel bad. I do feel like there was a great life lesson that could have been learned here. No matter how awful it is, I guarantee you Amazon's awful. I'm positive of it. I'm not denying it. I'm not denying that he felt awful. But there's also a huge W there, right? Did you hear his language? His language was, I was really worried about being fired. I was really worried about these kind of things. So I'm just going to quit. And when he does, what does his manager say? What do you do? You don't have to do that, right? Like your expectation and how you view a situation sometimes doesn't always align with reality. You know, another thing that I've seen a lot, I wouldn't say always, but I've seen a lot, people who've been able to be very successful, just relying on their own laurels up to a certain spot, when put in a situation that is above their pay grade, if you will, that they completely fold. I feel like at some point in your life, you have to fight it out to earn the fight. And once you fight it out, you earn. It's just like every time you meet a person that has fought it out, they can continue to do that fighting out. Whereas like if you've always just success, right? You go to school, you get A's. You don't have to be like, you don't have to try super hard in school. You just are always successful at the things you do. Everything you put your hand to, you're generally successable. For those that haven't seen that, I've seen it a lot of times. And then when those people get put into a hard situation, one in which they don't have the gifts they can just simply rely on, I've seen a lot of times they actually, a lot of caving happens. It's very, very hard. Put me in a hard situation, Trash. Joke's on you, you're always hard.
senior manager called me and basically said the same thing. Somehow they actually convinced me, and I was like, okay, maybe I can make things work here.
Okay.
And A couple days went by, and for the third and final time, I sent my resignation email. After quitting, I thought things would get better. They did not. Whenever I sat at my computer and opened VS Code, I would just get like this intense feeling in my stomach.
I get the same thing to this day. I can't even open up VS Code without getting super pissed
That's
off. So
actually-
maybe the situation was you're not using NeoVim. Have you thought about that? Maybe it wasn't even all that. What are the chances it was just VS Code?
And
by the way, every time I do that, I swear I have so many stupid shorts and YouTube videos of like out of context clips of me dunking on VS Code. And people are like, man, you and your
make that into
high
a short.
pedestal sitting up there thinking you're just better than everybody else because you use NeoVim. Dude, it's just so funny. It's just so funny. You clip something out of context and damn, people ready to die on this one. They're like, good.
And after a while, I just gave up. I think I recorded a few LeetCode videos, but I even stopped that because I was just so depressed. I was turning to drugs and alcohol. I hit the bong so much that I literally didn't even feel it anymore. I was just in shock. How did this happen to me? This was not supposed to happen. It was supposed to be different. If I was stronger, this would have never happened to me. If I could just have one more chance, I know I could make things right. Maybe in another life, I'll make them proud. I literally thought that to myself. It sounds cringy to say it out loud, but that's literally how I felt. I was at rock bottom and
feels on that one. I'm sure so many people look back on so many of these little moments in which you could have done better. And often it's like only when you're far out of the situation and you come back do you realize, man, I could have done this differently. It sucks. It sucks having to look back and do that. I can think of many situations in which that is real. Taking things a little serious, isn't he? There's this thing that happens to people. It's kind of like a well-known phenomenon. A good example of this and someone that has talked about this on the internet who I absolutely think is a complete dick of a dude. Dan Blazarian, right? He has a problem where he talked about staying in a 5-star hotel felt yucky to him. I recently stayed in my first 5-star hotel like a year and a half ago, ever in my entire lifetime. It was absolutely incredible to me. So the ability to stay in a place, I got to stay there for one day. It was incredible. Okay, I got a 1-day stay in there and it was super, super sweet. Nonetheless, there's this thing that happens to people where difficulty or pain is experienced differently depending on your life. I know, it sounds crazy. Everybody's a little bit different, but when you're only used to experiencing a certain level, when it goes down a level, it can feel like real pain. Your brain processes like real pain. If you're always used to being a success and now for the first time you're a failure, you're experiencing, for some people, that's not rock bottom. That's like an average day in the life. For some people, that is rock bottom, and you just gotta understand. It's gonna, So I understand his words. His words are what he felt.
this lasted for weeks and it was not getting better until one day I made a huge mistake. I went to my fridge, I opened the freezer, I grabbed a piece of tinfoil, I opened it and ate everything inside. It was like 5 or 6 tabs of LSD. Now, it was
I've done something similar. I too took too much LSD and to this day, every now and then I'll still get like a streaks, but that was like 15 years ago. So, I'm lucky.
horrible decision, but I just wanted to feel like I was flying. Now, I did not fly. I spent that day laying down and watching the ceiling just spinning. All of the negative feelings I had were like 10 times more intense, and the thoughts just kept replaying in my mind. But that wasn't even the worst part of it. After it was over, the world around me had very noticeably changed. A school construction project next to where I lived was not really about the school. It was actually meant to spy on me. Why? That's the question I kept asking myself. Why is it that every time I go for a walk, there are people following me? Why is it?
Damn, man. Yeah, I mean, you can hurt your brain. Real talk, you can hurt. Drug-induced schizo is a real thing. I have multiple members of my family who use too much drugs and have some level of schizophrenia because of it. It can get real dark. Don't do a lot of drugs, dog. For those that haven't made this mistake yet, don't do that. Use NeoVim, find Jesus, VS Code, and LSD to stay in. Okay.
That every time I drive, police are following me. I know that sounds crazy, but here's one that's like a tiny bit believable, at least for like a paranoid person. In college, I had my only internship at Capital One. During that time, there was a data breach on their services that were hosted on AWS. And it was actually intentionally caused by like a former Amazon engineer. And while I was at Amazon, I would sometimes take like handwritten notes, like about my tasks. So then I started thinking, oh shit, there's going to be another breach and Amazon is going to try to blame it on me. Why?
Damn,
I don't know, but I took those notes and I burned the shit out of them. Now, I'm
That's some intense psychosis, man. Hurt the brain a little bit with too much LSD. LSDs can be very dangerous, by the way.
not a big crier. I'm honestly not. But in this situation, it was so hard to get better because I just could not stop crying. Even worse, I couldn't remember anything. I would get up and walk to the kitchen and be like,
I
wait,
lied
what am
about
I
the
doing
crying
again?
part.
Wait, how old am I again? What's my name again? Wait, didn't I have a doctor's appointment today? I was so scared that I was just completely losing my mind, but I did not stay down. Almost every day, I would drive to an empty parking lot, and after I was done crying, I would read to myself, and I'll actually show you. Maybe working this particular job caused a little too much anxiety right now, but as I continue, I know pretty soon it will be easier and more manageable. You can even see the date, last edited August 20, 2020. I would read these
still
words
have that.
every single day until one day I could believe them. Even then, months went by of me doing nothing. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, or even remember things. I didn't really know what else to do anymore, so I think on December 1st, 2020, I decided, okay, I'm just gonna solve a leak code problem every single day, regardless of what else happens around me.
Great step right here. It was a great step.
And the consistency and predictability of this actually helped me calm down a lot. And literally a week after that, I started feeling like a tiny bit normal again. So then I started making leak code videos again, literally like a week after that. It was such a strange feeling, like as quickly as my brain had like come apart was as quickly as it just came together. And I kept at it for a year until I got my first job interview and then job offer since quitting. And it happened to be at Google. And maybe
Huge respect for this. Please have a routine. A routine alone can make a huge difference in your life. I mean that. Like the fact that he just did something consistently made a huge impact into his life. Have a routine. This is why I just say go to bed at the same time. If you go to bed at the same time, you drink or you wake up at the same time, I literally wake up and go straight to work. And I just do that. I don't have some red light therapy 3-hour morning routine with a bunch of working out and cold sauna, hot sauna, jump in the cold water. I don't do all that crap. I just go straight to work for an hour and a half, just wake up and go. And then I come back and do the things I need to do to get ready for the day. It just makes life, I usually don't eat breakfast. I usually skip breakfast. Monday through Friday, I don't eat usually till like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. I just wake up, brush teeth, work. Just helps. It just helps because I have this thing that I just do it every single time.
I was gonna say something, but the last time I said it, you got mad at me.
No, just say it. Wait, how bad is it?
Like, it was just like the last time I said it during the meeting we had. You were like, why did you say that? Now everyone's gonna think we're a thing.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh my god, Shui, why did you say that?
Yeah, so let me tell you guys something. We were at this UW thing. I have a picture of it probably. Shui's also an engineer, and that's it. Yeah, so we did this thing, and while we were there, in their Discord or something, I saw some of them say something. I don't know, for some reason, like they thought we were together. And during like the talk, somebody asks her like, what time
I wake up.
Yeah. And then she looks at me and she's like, I don't know, what time do I usually text you? So then I was like, you shouldn't have said that. Now they're definitely going to think we're together.
To like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. I just wake up, brush teeth, work. Just helps. It just helps because I have this thing that I just do it every single time. If you don't do that exact thing and you just have a varied schedule every single day where every single day is just kind of chaos, it gets hard.
this is the drugs talking, but ever since then, life just feels like a dream. Like it doesn't feel real to me anymore. I feel like every time I have to do something hard or something I couldn't do in the past, I literally feel like somebody else is doing it for me. Now, I'm not saying that leak code will cure your mental illness, and I'm not a doctor, but if I had to guess, this whole experience of going crazy was probably like drug-induced psychosis, at least from what I know. Now, I can't tell you exactly how to get into Google. I can't tell you exactly how to make a lot of money or whatever it is that you want to do. I wish I could, but I can tell you this. When you're consistent, never stay down, enjoy what you do, maybe even obsess over it, and lastly, are honest with yourself and a little self-critical, you tell me, would you want to bet against someone like that? I wouldn't, and for that reason, I'm never going to bet against myself. I'm Navi, and that's my story in my own words.
I want to know what
Respect
he says
on
now.
that. That was some good.
Okay, so before he gives his thoughts, I guess I'll let you give your thoughts if you have any.
I think when I watched this video, I think I was on a plane. Remember I told you I downloaded a bunch of his videos to watch on the plane? I don't know why. I don't know why I'm not subscribed to you, because I thought if I would subscribe to you, I would mess with my algorithm, and my algorithm is like full of those girly vlogs, you know what I'm talking about? That was initially the reason why I didn't subscribe. So I would like watch your videos in bulk. And when I watched this video, I remember that like you finished with this note I think the part that I didn't agree with was the obsessive part. Yeah, tell me a little bit about that. Like, do you truly believe like being obsessed with something is healthy?
Where I was coming from with that is like sometimes people will tell you you're too obsessed with this or you're doing too much of that or whatever. But in the long run, it's actually like helpful because people would always tell me like go outside when I was a kid and stuff. But stuff going on outside wasn't better than sitting at like a computer. So like it worked out for me. But I mean, I think I see the point that you're getting at.
No, yeah, I just like thought about it a lot because if I want to be successful, do I really have to give up everything else to be as obsessed, to be like constantly thinking about it all the time? Because I don't know if I could do that. Like, I don't know if I could live and breathe coding. I don't know. When I watched this video, that's what you made it sound like, you know. And but maybe I'm totally off track.
No, I think that's a
Yeah.
fair interpretation. I guess, yeah, that's probably why I just put the maybe in there. I had to leave it up for interpretation. What was I going to say about it? Okay, so there was two parts to it. The ending, the advice. I think it's fine because it was pretty open-ended. Like I try not to give advice because it's hard to like based on somebody's situation. The other part, yeah, like I can't tell you how I got into Google and like how to make money. Yeah, I feel like that's true because everybody will kind of do the opposite nowadays, tell you how you can do this and that. I don't remember the rest of it. So I didn't cringe as much as I would have expected, but let's see what he had to think.
Respect right there. I really appreciated that video. Chat, this is Giga Chad. This, not some freaking arch rust weeb waifu enjoyer dipshit that personally feels attacked if you critique his indent preferences and starts crying into his programming socks, calling for BT goth mommy. I'm not sure what BT goth mommy is. I'm not good enough. I'm not hip enough to know what that means. But I agree. Like and subscribe. But real talk, this was a really good video. And he says, I can't tell you how to be successful, how to make a lot of money. That's absolutely true. People like to say there's no one-size-fits-all approach to life. But there are most certainly really good identifiers. A good, easy thing that just almost universally works, specifically in programming, is becoming really good at.
Since I didn't talk about like the drug aspect, I will say don't do drugs or LSD and things of that nature. I definitely won't be doing it again.
Something. It's just always a good idea. You know, like anytime I meet somebody, doesn't really matter what it is, but somebody that's really that just has really gone deep into a specific topic. Networking, you meet someone that's really good at like DevOps, like Alt F4. Any of these people that just really understand all of the various, you know, concepts and really pushes in hard. And when you talk to them, you can just feel this wealth of knowledge on a specific thing, even if it is React, right? My arch nemesis, if you will. I still find it really, really impressive. And I want to work with that person. That's a tip. Be consistent, go deep on something, right? I mean, you will do so well in programming. Salesforce. Honestly, if you were the best Salesforce plugin person, I guarantee you could make deep into the six-figure salary right now. Dude, just get good at WordPress and you will still make a ton of money. That's Lambo money. You don't have to like work in the coolest technology in the world. Just find the thing that you are excited about. You know what I mean? Like if you just do what you are excited about, it's shocking how
I don't
far
think he hates it
you will go.
that
You should be
much.
excited about
It's
getting
just
some
one
money.
of his
I was there.
jokes,
I was there, and
think, that he
I
doesn't
had an
like.
absolutely awful time.
Yeah,
I
he's
went
like
from
a
$0 to
character,
$50,000 a
kinda.
year, and it was one of the most incredible moments of my entire lifetime. You know, you should be excited about that. That stuff is good. But at the end of the day, making money is not a long-term motivator. At some point, when you're going up by 5% a year, making money becomes a
Holy
grind.
shit.
Find something else in
Wait,
there to
we
help
gotta leave
fill
a
in those
comment
gaps.
on
You know what I mean?
here.
Like real talk, I wouldn't only program for the love of it. If there was no money in it, at some point I'd have to do something else. And that's totally fine. What's my motivation? You know, when I was 19, doing too much LSD, had hallucination problems for a large part of my life, all that kind of crap. The methamphetamines, just the extreme addiction to pornography. I mean, honestly, I didn't even know if I was gay or straight. I had no idea. Like my life was just a pile of confusion, and I felt confused on every single point of my life. And I just remember sitting there just like, I had no direction. Nobody told me how to live my life. I had nobody told me anything. And I just felt so desperate to feel something. And that's when I actually became a late life Christian. That was weird. But then after that, my motivation is really that I just want to help people. Like I want people to feel like there's something in life. I want somebody just to say, hey, I may not have the best life, but at least I had somebody saying something nice in my life. Like I got nothing. I had nothing. Dad died when I was young. Shit sucked. It just sucked, right? That's all. That's my life. That was my life. It just sucked. Nobody told me nothing. Now look at me. Life's completely different.
I'm not really good
Alright.
in these kinds of like moments. I don't know what to say. You're pretty good at this. I don't know what to say. Like if I DM him, I don't know how to have conversations.
Then he's your. Are you guys friends? Like, do you
I
guys
don't-
talk to each other?
Not really.
Oh.
But I mean, I like him. And I think he seems to be fine with me, I would guess. He's a nice guy, I think. I was mainly going to say like part of the reason I uploaded this was because I saw your video. Appreciate what you do, Prime. That's the best I can do.